some of the suggestions that we come up with. Because we can come up with suggestions. It is you who implements them on the ground. And I know what we have done in Botshabelo. You know, Botshabelo became our focal point minister because we thought that there's no way that we can spend more time in schools that are doing well. Your old Ranger Macy School, UNICE, and everybody, they're doing well. So why do we spend more time here? We must spend more time in areas that are difficult. And this has produced results. Because, you know, I was watching the results yesterday. You didn't actually capture it. For the first time, since I've been MEC, and I've been MEC for almost 13 years, for the first time, Botshabelo, that area with huge socio-economic challenges, produced 6 learners in the top 100. 6 learners out of 13 schools. So it really shows that if we can give our learners support, they will show us flames. And I'm very, very impressed. I was speaking to THABA here, that many of our learners from Botshabelo, because THABA and myself, Minister, we've got a bias to engineering. And I'm still convinced that we need more engineers as a developing country. You know, we've been able to recruit from Botshabelo alone 68 learners who are studying engineering. 32 of them are studying at the University of Cape Town from the class of 2022. And the rest they are in CPUT, right? Cape Peninsula Institute of Technology, something like that. They are all studying engineering. And I really want to thank him because, you see, he reminds me before around 1994, when we came to be members of parliament. I don't know, somebody put this thing of a ladder, poster with a ladder, and somebody going up the ladder. And he says, when you reach the top, don't kick the ladder because you may need it when you come down. So I want to thank you, THABA, because you don't want to succeed alone. You understand that success is a collective effort. Just like Charlotte McCracken also said, once you succeed, pull somebody else with you. I'm happy that you were able to pull about 68 learners from Botshabelo who are now staying at the University of CPUT and the University of Cape Town. I will be visiting them just to go and show them, because we also need to tell our children that university is not easy. And I'm happy that the class of 2022 is here. We must tell them the truth, that it is not easy. There may be subjects that are easy, but others are very difficult. If you are going to study medicine, it means you're not going to have weekends. You have to study every day. If you're going to study engineering, you must know that maths. You must be able to know maths. Practice that maths again. You have to practice every day. And then we must also be able to tell our children that at university, you're not going to get this soft professor who loves you. You are 100 in a chemistry class, and then he's not interested, or she's not interested in liking one child over the other. She just comes in there and says, chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, chapter 6, you'll read for yourself. I'm starting from chapter 7. But when the assessment comes, it covers those areas. So it's very, very important to instill in our children the will to fight, the will to succeed, the will to work hard, because that's exactly what you need when you are at the university. Especially those of us who come from good schools. They may come from Orange Macy School, they may come from UNICE, and they think, no, we don't have to work hard. We are ready. We are in for a surprise. You must get used to working hard. Otherwise, you'll have the problems of anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. And we produce you from this province. We don't want you to suffer from those kind of things. We want you to come back and change our country for the better, because that's what education is about. Education is not only about matric results. Education is about changing our country for the better. And that's why you'll see that even all our leaders, political leaders, business leaders, all of them, they value education. So it says to all of us that teachers are the most important professionals that we have in our country. And I want to thank you, Nadamloy, again, Team Motheo, for making education a societal issue. You know, Minister, when we announced the results, we had to share ourselves, because now churches want us to come and report. In every church, we have to go to Mangaung, and I have to stand up there and explain what the results are, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So they went to one other church last week, and I had to go to Wesleyan Church. And then I had to stand up there and report to the church. And in that church, there were more than 500 people just came to listen to the results of education. And that is why we are confidently saying now education is a societal issue. Minister, let me not talk too much about this, and then because you are the one who must say more. So I want to present Minister to you, Minister NCHU. All of us by now know her. She's an education activist. She knows what it is to call parents to come into a meeting to discuss the results of the learners, and the parents don't turn up. She knows what it is when the learner does well. Ufutise malume is like malume, is like uncle, and so on and so on. When the learner does bad, it is these teachers who are not teaching them. So she knows that education is a thankless job. And that is why, Minister, I love National Teaching Awards. Because it's an opportunity for us to say thank you to our teachers, because sometimes this job becomes thankless. I'm sure by now we know that she's the longest-serving Minister of Education and the longest-serving minister, one of the longest-serving ministers. And she has been very, very brave, very confident. And then that is why when we had challenges of what was interpreted as OBE, misinterpreted, she came in and she changed education to what it is today. Can you all stand up and give her a round of applause as we call the minister to the stage?
Program Director, Eric Kaleka Libisa Trompo, the Wiko Betzo, Sebeti Moho Lindang Tatate, Kidibisa Trompo, who get a Piliki Boning, ya district Yetelwa Pili, Kintatemloi. Kidibisa Trompo who so also the Secretariat also want to assume that there are also unions that are here. Also give my respect to the principals that are here and the teachers that are here and to all the guests that are here. I always say I left teaching to be principal, so I really respect principals. They are my seniors because I left education as a teacher, not as any senior official. So let me give also my respect to all the teachers, the principals, and all the guests of the day, and the protocol as it was established. Kemedi, Aburening, and all the people that are here. So I also was told that the top learners, because they're the ones who have really made us proud and were also humbled by their pursuits. Before I even get into it, let me answer the late release of results, then I can, because I don't want to forget the point you raised. Because lots of people have raised it. There were people who kept on phoning me to say, can't the results see this one? And if you recall, since 2020, we've released results late because we have pushed the year's calendar. So the exams are later, so which means the marking is later. And that just influences when we release results. So which means even for some time I think for years to come, we'll still have to release them later because we're trying to catch up on lost time during COVID by extending the calendar and pushing the year later. You'll be getting circulars. We're also trying to add also hours of teaching in your basic, without extending the day, to have hours of teaching, because we were aware that since COVID, we have not recovered lost ground. So that's the reason why the releases are late. And I agree with you, lots of people are anxious, even members of parliament, we really no one an accounting issue. So I thought I should raise that one. But I really have to really say and join you, MEC. For me, it is indeed a distinct honor and privilege to be here today. To a district well-done function, to celebrate the top district. As you correctly said, top district, I mean, there's 75 of them. And I can tell you they work hard. They work hard. It's one of the levels, and I'm really proud about the education system because the provinces normally give the best. It's not the most senior in the system, but they normally give the best to districts. So you have the best of your people there. In Gauteng, I know you can't be, it's a big thing. Maybe it's big because we have the whole how it's big also in that sense, but it's one of the best levels and districts give the best. And to be the best amongst the best, it's a big thing, it's not a small thing. And that's what I think that Temoloi rightfully was dancing. He's really the best amongst the best, not just the best district. So I really want to congratulate you. So I couldn't resist coming to congratulate Motheo district. As you correctly say, I've had an opportunity of coming to this district and can attest to the hard work, but also the attitude of people in this district, the humility, the hard work. You know, even when we came during COVID, sometimes I used to, even you know, when you go to a place to visit, you're normally given the best. I can't tell you, I care about one of the programs, how we are responding to COVID, but it's still well to your district. When I say I'm monitoring the following, it could easily take me up to nearer districts. If I cross the Val, it's less than an hour from home. He could have taken me, but we come here because I think he knows he's got his jewel, who really pursues or tries the best. And I really want to congratulate you and thank you most sincerely, Temoloi and your team, for really being the best amongst the best. But I must also congratulate my colleague, Tate. I want to congratulate you, MEC, your HOD, for the job well done. You're quite right that you are raising the bar. You know, we have reached a stage where even in the governing party, when they ask me, how's the ranking after Free State? It's really obvious into it. You know, and it's not easy to be there. I mean, I was an MC, it's not easy to be there. So it means also a lot to be a top province in the country consistently for 7 years. It's also a big feat. So indeed, today we celebrate Motheo district as a top performing district in the country. I want to congratulate the district director, your circuit managers, your principals, and everyone who contributed to this success. Because true, we can say we're the best even the dictate. I tell people I've not seen like announced done, which would have produced results. It's teachers and principals that we are humbly representing to say, this is what our teachers have produced. And for that, we're eternally grateful, because indeed, it's your work, it's your sacrifices that we're celebrating. We know that you are tireless and selfless in your efforts to improve the basic education system, and this district is now leading the country in matric results, not just in the province, as we said. And this achievement is not just a cause for celebration in the Free State, but a shining example for the entire nation. So the dedication and perseverance of our teachers here serves as an inspiration to all of us. That's why I'm really humbled to be standing in front of you, and we wish to congratulate you for the outstanding accomplishments. So to the Motheo learners, again, your courage and determination in the face of so many challenges. I mean, Free State, it's not like one of your best, highly endowed province. Yes, it's located in the middle, but to really beat provinces that have high number of resources, it's not a feat. Because in some provinces, we just know also that the figures are raised by your well-resourced schools. The majority of your well-resourced schools are in Gauteng and in the Western Cape and partly in KZN. But really to come from the back with fewer well-resourced schools or rich schools like we have in other areas and still be the best, it really is a cause for celebration also for the province. And you perform this in a very difficult and criminality. High levels of depression also coming from COVID-19 and poverty. And still in that context, just be the best that you could be. And I really say it is a cause for celebration. I want to acknowledge the unsung heroes and heroines. You're quite right, the parents, the caregivers and SGB members who have supported the education managers and learners in their journey to the top of Mount Sinai. Or also feel you still decided day. Okay. So we congratulate them for scientifically analyzing our results. Think hearsay. To say at grade 9 we have a hump, what causes the hump? At grade 4 we have a hump, what causes the hump and how do we deal with it? And amongst other things that I have in the data I want us to also explore, it's the impact of language of education, teaching language in our schools. As an African continent, for all our sins, we're one of those few continents that study in a language none than our own. I get it. So I think we have to also debate and analyze that, because Eastern Cape has run a very interesting analysis. I think we'll have to talk about it again when we're in the district managers. They ran a pilot for 12 years of teaching Kasisotho to Kasixhosa. And that's why I'm attracting you, because at least there's a ground which they have started Kasisotho. They were able to prove that, I like the analysis on an ongoing basis, to say if what more do we need to understand to get there and do it systematically and scientifically, so that we don't really work on hearsay. So I was very impressed. So indeed, your dedication to academic excellence, because that's dedication to academic excellence, which we do systematically, but also the unpaid hours that our teachers put in and offering first-rate support to all learners will not go unnoticed. Somebody in Parliament was asking me, even recently, you support Saturday classes. You bring extra support even for your kids' pay. So, the tutors are these Saturdays, this Sunday. And I really we should thank our teachers for that extra mile that they are going, because affluent families are able to buy their children programs, they're able to take them to extra classes, they're able to have tutors to support them. And what our teachers are doing at the weekends, it's exactly compensating for that. But sometimes the school can't do everything. You need extra help outside. So again, to our teachers, I really want to thank you for just going that extra mile. So today we really honor all our stakeholders involved in the basic education ecosystem, particularly in this district of winners, who put in the work for no extra pay. I'm really humbled sometimes to say our managers. Minister, why don't you bring people in the private sector to come and get, to come and help you run education? I mean, they really can't match some of our managers. No, they bring people in the private sector. If you come into the sector, you will know. I mean, I had a meeting with Sizwe Nxasani, who's been a very top senior executive for big companies or telecom, F&B. He was saying he wants to admit for the first time in his life that it's tough. Education is tough. He says it's tougher than anything he's done also in the corporate world. And to achieve what Motheo have achieved, it's big. We shouldn't take it's big, and we sometimes underplayed because we don't understand, we don't compare it to other things that are happening elsewhere. What we've achieved at the Motheo and your team is big. To be a top district like Motheo with a pass rate of 90.8% in the country, it really sheer guts and bravery. When we release results again, but one puts or one of the private school, 10,000. Because here we're dealing with a public system, we're not even creaming kids, we take them as they come. And we have to deal with them. So it's a big system, and again, as I say, success in the system is big. I mean, I was saying to this critique, if you look at what sometimes this, by 11,000, a small district with all the resources you have. Because when they are in the 90s in a public system, it's big again. So again, I want to congratulate you. The edge that puts this district ahead of its peers, the sheer magnitude of your greatness, and the marvelous commitment to academic excellence, truly no one can fathom. So yeah, marvelous. Marvelous. So you have written your names in bright ink in the history of books, in the history books. Posterity will commend your academic finesse one day, and they will tell your mighty acts in the service of our homeland. So that success isn't for the Emmys and the premier only, but victory belongs to the toiling masses of our people, the working class poor, who sacrifice their last penny to support their children to do well. And the beauty of this province political leadership is that you understand basic education very well. You understand that each learner needs qualifying races such as a solid ECD learning and primary education to succeed. And I'm very glad that you are committing also yourself to ECD. Because as we correctly say, and which I always said to colleagues, things start where they start or they end if they don't start well. Also, the language teacher always say, how can ba dilemong tse itseng o so bue puo eo o ka se tlhole o e bua hantle kere o tla utlwa fela motho a se Mosotho a se tsebe Sesotho hobane o qadile o se bua ka mora nako e itseng. Ha o ka ya sekolong bosiu ka dikerese wa se ka ngola motshehare le ha se o rutile le professor wa bona hore o qadile lata sekolo o ba di empa o fihlile after school a iketsetsa ka wena mo a iketsetsang teng. Ho bolelang hore if you don't start it right, you'll never get it right. This one was I always Esther knows this one. When my kids were growing up, or in the take professor, but Harry 7 or 11. His English is suspect. I get always workers. I say, ECD. So, Motheo, you'll never get it right anywhere, anytime. Professor there's something suspect, man. And because they were going private schools, they were not very comfortable with the homework. Education. And the point I'm making is that that's the fundamental value of ECD. We have to get it right if our kids' success have to be sustainable. The size or the quality of your foundation determines the quality of your structure. Foundation your height, it depends on your foundation. So if the foundation is not solid from the early childhood development level, then we're in trouble. So I was with the director, it's not going to be easy. It's a landmine. No, but I told those ECD practitioners, if Namsevitz waka, it can't be our interest. Our interest in education is to fundamentally change that sector, and we'll have to work together to say which direction and how. We have to change the quality, and I did tell them that we have principles guiding us in education. Access is a major thing to us. No child must be left behind. And from the reports we have in ECD, is that we are only, all these crashes, more than 42,000 of them, they are only catering for 1.6 million children. Whereas South Africa says there are about 7.6 million children, 7.2 million children who are supposed to be catered for. So access is a big issue. And as Dr. Tate was saying also, the reports that we have done also in preparation for the function shift was that almost 65% of our children arrive at school not school ready. So your primary school, but I can't say basically, so you're just your physical skills, which take time to teaching, whereas those are the things that should have been stimulated on whilst they're still young. So indeed, number one, so we also do know that each learner, according to their ability, which will show in the final matric results, as bachelors and passes. Indeed, as former US President Barack Obama once opined, he said, the future belongs to young people with an education and the imagination to create a better life for all. That's where the future is. And I agree with MEC to say, for me, the holy grain education. You can study all developing countries in the world now in the past 50 years, when asked Malaysia, when asked South Korea, what has made them to break through? So there's no slavery. But America, they managed to succeed because they could come and plunder people's things and build their economy. So you can't plunder anymore. All those that succeeded, they succeeded because of education. You ask Malaysia, what was your breakthrough? They say education. You ask South Korea, they say it's education. So if we are to break away from some of our difficulties, which I've mentioned, of unemployment, underdevelopment, poverty, education is the key. And hence we highly respect people who are involved in this. So truth be told, and I think that's why everybody was excited with the results. But let alone what Ndate is saying, it's amazing how South Africans value education. It even lifts the national mood. When we announce the results, people just don't only look out of curiosity. It's a good feel for the nation, its morale, its emotional state. It's such a good feel. And the work that you do, as I say, goes even beyond the kids who are passing. It's for the national psyche. There's unemployment, but so it gives us so much hope and gives us all the reason to celebrate. And for that, we're eternally grateful to all the people who are working here. So I really believe that occupying a top position in a country is an event worthy of celebration. So as the Minister of Basic Education and on behalf of government, I'm proud of this province's hard work. You are worthy to be praised. I repeat the number one fellow, you really are. You are an inspiration to all of us. And the success of the Free State class of 2022, it has enabled our fragile nation to focus on core, if momentarily, a reprieve from the daily toll of our stagnant economy, high unemployment, the rising cost of living, and now load shedding. Today, we say cheers to the 2022 Motheo district learners who have excelled against all odds, having spent 2.5 years under the cloud of COVID-19 pandemic. We again want to pay homage to the district director, circuit managers, principals, and teachers. Interestingly, this cohort of high achievers lived in the same country, attended the same schools, walked the same malls, and battled the same virus with the other learners. But you have distinguished yourselves in conduct, magnificent academic performance, and triumph over insurmountable odds. In other words, we have a more robust fighting spirit than your peers. As I said, you're unacquainted with the concept of failure. You say you want to be the best that you can be in every area. And for that, I really want to congratulate you and thank you. And that's why they say success attracts success. So produce good results, have the best school nutrition. It really shows also that what we are saying is true, that you live by your motto of saying you want to be the best you can be in everything that you can. So your superb academic performance assures that the future of this district, but of this nation, is in right hands of shining, intelligent, and agile minds ready to fight to defend the virtues of academic rigor and diligence. You represent through your academic accolades what it means to be a dutiful citizen, committed to the realization of a dream of a prosperous homeland and values of consciousness over sloth. To paraphrase the old adage, you didn't ask what this district can do for you. Instead, you brought honor to its prestige, to your schools, and warm and fuzzy feelings to your families and caregivers. And indeed, you are brave, bright, and the light to this nation, as I say, gripped by a number of difficulties that I've mentioned: unemployment, poverty, underdevelopment, and really to even give us a chance to celebrate, I must say, we will have to thank you. Just to, re ke re bue taba tse monate. Sa bue re ho bitilwe batho ba ba kae kae, kapa ho bolailwe mang kae. Just really talk about positive, and thank you very much for also that, for that. As I said, we have set the bar very high for future generations. I mean, 90% in a public system is not easy. It means a lot. So we applaud you for putting the virtues of diligence, for staying the course, and want to wish you even more accomplishments in the future. From this cohort, we can say we expect to see more, and I'm glad also that our young people are also biting and say wherever they are, support young